Good evening. It's 6 p.m., February 12th, 2025, and I'd like to open the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for this evening. I'd like to announce that this meeting is being televised live on local cable channel 8 and 1072 HD. We could all rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Next, does anyone have a public comment regarding anything not related to any agenda items tonight? If so, please check in with Mary Ann, two to my left, and you can have 3 minutes to make your comments. Anyone in the audience? Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Attorney Christopher Corain. I just wanted to give the board a quick update on a case that has been working its way through the court system, and this is the famous 228 Waiting Place case. So, as for Mike, who wasn't here, this was a case where there was a special permit for a raise and replace that was approved by this board. It was appealed to the land court, and the land court came up with the determination that flood zone now had to be discounted from lot area, and that's now why we have 100% lot coverages and, you know, no setback to the wetlands when we're in flood zone. So it really kind of turned on its head the way things have been done in Mashpee. So the court made that decision. It remanded it back to this board. So we brought the project back before the board. The board reviewed it with the umbrella of the case from the land court and approved the project once again. The neighbors appealed it. This time they appealed it to the Superior Court. Back in May, I had filed a motion for summary judgment, which is a procedural legal procedure which hopes to try to resolve the case without having it to go to trial. And there were many issues, and obviously the abutters filed a cross motion. So about, I don't know what it is, 9 months later, we finally got a decision out of the Superior Court, which basically punted on all the issues and kicked the can down the road, and it will have to go to trial. That being said, the judge did rule on one issue, which supported what the board had interpreted, the bylaw, what David had commented on, which is that the area that is within the pilings is not considered a story. So the judge did make that ruling. There was the abutter had claimed that that area within the pilings constituted a story, so instead of having a 2.5-story house, we actually had a 3.5-story house. But the judge disagreed with that argument, and it's in that decision that the area within the pilings is not considered a story.
Well done.
So we won that one, but
So now we're famous.
yeah, now you're famous, and
David's famous.
Well, no, actually, it's going to be Zoning Board of Appeal versus, right?
yep. So
Nice.
but on the unfortunate end
David
is,
did a nice job in that.
He
Nice
did.
job, David.
did a great job. So unfortunately, though, the case is not resolved and it's still ongoing. So
Hopefully you'll get it over the finish.
I hope so. So anyways, I just wanted to give the board a quick update.
Thank you for your input. Yes, anyone else? Nope. Thank you. So if anyone in the audience, just for an update, no, just to bring you up to speed, if for some reason I do not ask for input from the audience on any hearing or any decision or any input from anyone of this board, please make sure you remind me. It is our goal to hear from everyone that wants to speak. Next, sitting on the first public meeting will be
The five of us.
yeah, exactly, the 5 of us. 4 of us plus the 5th. So that being said, please, Mike, would you like to read the first 24 Secaucet Point Road into the record, please?
Okay. 24 Secaucet Point Road, owners Joshua and Nicole Delman request a variance under 174-31, land space requirements, and 174-33, setback to wetlands of the zoning bylaws to vary the lot coverage and setback to wetlands to allow for construction of a single-family residence on property located in an R3 zoning district, map 124, parcel 35, Mashpee, Mass. Continued from 11/13/24, 12/11/24, 1/8/25, at the request of the attorney.
Counselor.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. For the record, Attorney Christopher Corain representing the Delmans. They are the owners of 24 Secaucet Point Road. And it, I guess, an apropos segue from what our discussion just was, because the reason for my variances are a direct result of the Waiting Place decision. What we have here is a vacant lot that is almost entirely within the flood zone. So that means I now need a variance from lot coverage and a variance from the setback to wetland. So this is really kind of a case of first impression for this board, because when my client bought this lot in 2020, the town was reviewing things under the old method, wouldn't have considered the flood zone as affecting lot area or lot coverage, and they would have gotten a building permit without any issue on those. But since waiting place came down, now I need a variance. So again, I need two variances for lot coverage and setback to wetlands. The lot is on Secaucet Island. It is Zone 3, R3, which requires 40,000 square feet of lot area, 150 feet of frontage, 40 feet on the front yard, 15 feet on the side and rear, 20% lot coverage, 35-foot building height, and a 50-foot setback to wetland. In this particular case, we have three nonconformities. One is obviously the lot area. There's only 470 square feet of upland, given that the lot is almost entirely within the flood zone. The setback to wetlands is 0, because again, we're almost entirely within the flood zone. Frontage, which isn't really the big issue, is also non-conforming at 94.46%. So if the board were to allow the variance to allow this house, we'd obviously have 100% lot coverage, and we'd have a 0-foot setback to the wetland. And again, that is because we're entirely within the flood zone. So, as the board, went over at the last meeting when you had variances, there's 4 items that this board needs to find in order to, properly, grant the variance. The first is the unique features justifying this request. Well, I would suggest that because this property is in the flood zone, we have a topographical elevation issue. If this property was not within the flood zone, it would get a building permit without issue. So the flood zone is a topographical, the elevation is an issue, and that results in the hardship. Each abutting lot has been developed with single-family residences, and they are also within the flood zone, so we have a unique situation here. We have a vacant lot, almost entirely within the flood zone, that, again, in 2020 would have got a building permit without issue. There is absolutely a substantial financial hardship to my client. When he bought this property in 2020, he paid $975,000 for the lot, with the understanding that it was a buildable lot. Nothing would have told him otherwise. So again, if he doesn't get this variance, he will lose his $975,000 investment in the property. I would also point out that this town taxes this as a developable lot and taxes at a value of approximately $950,000. So he's been paying taxes on a valuable piece of land. The next point or element or criteria would be that the granting of the variance will not cause a substantial detriment to the public good. I would suggest that there wouldn't be, because A, what is being proposed is a single-family residence in an R3 zoning district where there are residential structures on both sides across the street. You're in a residential zone, single-family zone. The home will be building code compliant. It will be flood zone compliant. The project was approved by the Conservation Commission. A IA septic will be going into is proposed. There's stormwater management proposed, and it's consistent with development in the neighborhood, in which as always, I provide pictures of some of the surrounding houses in the neighborhood. This is certainly consistent. The final criteria will be that it will not nullify or derogate from the intent of the bylaw. So again, we're proposing a single-family residence in a R3 zoning district, which allows single-family homes as of right. The proposed lot coverage as a percentage of the total lot area, which in this case is 20,721 square feet. So if we didn't have the flood zone, we'd have 20,720, is 19.8%. So under the old method, we meet your 20% criteria. We're not looking for anything that goes above and beyond what this board would normally require. Also, we're not looking for any variances with regard to the front yard setback, the side yard setbacks, or the rear yard setbacks. We can comply with all of your other zoning dimensional requirements. So we're not looking for any variances on anything else. It's simply the lot coverage and the setback to wetland, and that's solely a function of the fact that this lot is within the flood zone. So again, the flood zone is certainly a topographical issue. which is criteria for a variance. There's an absolute substantial financial hardship to my client. I provided you the deed that shows the consideration of $975,000, which he paid, which he will lose if the variance is denied. And again, the town is taxing it as a valuable piece of land. And, you know, based on that fact that it's a single-family residence in a single-family zone as of right, we're, you know, building code compliant, flood zone compliant. We're not, you know, need variances from any of the other setbacks. You know, I would suggest that, you know, we're not going to create a detriment to the public good or nullify or derogate from the intent of the bylaw. So with all of that, I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have. I will note, Mark Dibb from Cape and Islands is with me, you know, if the board would have any questions on any of that.
The way I'd like to handle this is, let's see if there's any letters for the agency read, need to be read into the record. Because I'm going to read them into the record, and then what I want to do is go through those 4 points, and each one of us, we're going to do a roll call vote on each one of those items, and then we'll see if we'll move on to hear the variance. So who would like to read whatever?
Let me start with conservation, 24 Constant Point Road, resource area, LSCSF, and buffer zone to salt marsh. NOI application was approved with a 3-to-1 vote with the conditions of a 3-year mitigation and monitoring contract with a certified professional and time of year restrictions for installation of pier, dock, float must be done between June and December. New construction on lot cleared from expired past permit will involve restoring cleared area to natural vegetation. Reduction in construction envelope, increased distance between dwelling and resource area, IA septic installation, dry well installation, restoration plantings, and reduction in lawn will benefit resource on-site through concern with overcrowding in waterways from new pier, dock, float system was found approved by commission vote.
Okay. Any other letters in the file?
Board of Health,
Okay.
24 Secaucet Point Road, BOH, septic is designed for 4-bedroom. Plan submitted via email on 2/12/25, so 1 bedroom on first floor, cased opening on study. Second floor has 3 bedrooms and cased opening on rec room. Plans have 4 bedrooms total.
Any other? Okay. So what we're going to do now is move on to the 4 points that Counselor pointed out to us. First being, and I'm going to do a roll call vote on each one. The only way we can hear a variance is to make sure that it fits all 4 of these items. And if one of them do not fit, or we do not approve one of them out of the 4, or all 4 of them we don't approve, at that point in time, we're not moving on to hear the variance. That being said, the first one, the property has unique conditions that justify the request. Discussion.
I would think that that change with the flood zone area, it's changed from what it originally was. I think that would be,
Unique?
would fall as a unique.
Well, unique, it's got to be unique to the neighborhood. Am I right?
Yes, and I would suggest this is. It's a vacant lot where other lots are
Aren't there
developed,
many lots down there that are in the flood zone?
but they're developed. So that's the unique feature.
Doesn't matter.
Sure it does.
They're all in the flood zone.
Right, but this is unique in the
That
fact that...
doesn't make it
Yeah,
unique.
absolutely it does.
I don't agree.
Absolutely it does.
I don't agree.
If there was never a house on it, and it's a vacant lot compared to a,
Right, so that makes
I don't
it...
agree. If it's in the flood zone, it's in the flood zone, whether it's a house there or not.
Well, that makes it unique from other lots.
I don't agree.
So
All right.
I think you'll find that that's not...
David, you want to join in this conversation?
I don't really want to, no.
Well, you don't have to.
I mean,
You don't have to. I'm just
the
asking
only,
if you'd like
the only
to.
thing I would point out is that, you know, this situation has created many houses in this, you know, I wouldn't say unique situation, but in this situation, there's over 30 that I have on a list.
So there's
And
maybe
it's-
29
and
more
it's
coming our
climbing.
way.
Correct,
Maybe.
but they all have their own separate issues, and they need to be dealt with one at a time. They need to be looked at one at a time. I'm sending every single one of them to this board.
Bring them on. All right, so why don't we, so members of the board, please.
So the question is the uniqueness of the property, is
Well,
that correct?
The property, so we have to say yes to this. The answer,
Soil condition.
you have to be able to say yes to this question. The question is, the property has unique conditions that justify the request. You need to be able to say, it has unique conditions that justify the request. It is unique in the justification.
You disagree.
Totally.
I do not. I think there is, I think everything out in Secaucet Island is unique compared to, if you want to take a Mashpee in a whole,
And it's,
Well, wait a minute, we're talking about one thing here. Talking about flood zone. Not the shape of the lot or anything else.
Yep.
Talking about topography.
but I'm looking at,
How is that unique, the topography?
Secaucet
On
Island.
this lot from any other lot?
because I'm looking at it a different way. I'm looking at
it's
it,
not true that every lot is in the flood zone on Secaucet Point Island.
That's true, but there are plenty in there that are.
and it's plenty
But they're
of
vacant.
lot.
They're not vacant. They have houses on them. That's
Doesn't
what makes,
matter.
yes, it
In my
does.
opinion, it doesn't
Because-
matter.
There was
disagree.
never a house there, so this gentleman bought this piece of property, and at the time, if he had pulled a permit that day, he wouldn't have had a, he wouldn't
That
have
is
this issue.
absolutely correct.
That, to me, makes it unique,
It's absolutely
because
correct.
it
Would he
changed.
had to come to this board for setback to wetlands, setback?
No, he wouldn't have because it's more than 50 feet away from the actual resource area. So it's, we only need the 50 from
So
the,
the statement that Scott just made is correct,
absolutely correct.
okay? Sharon, what do you think?
Well, I know that it's pretty typical of all the lots out there. Is the lot unique? The lot itself is no different. The fact that it has no house makes it different.
We're talking about the lot, not the house.
Right.
But it's a unique
Talking
condition
about the
that,
land, the
Right,
topography.
the topography of the land is not
This says
unique to this.
topography.
I understand that, but you can consider that it does, it's a vacant
I don't
lot.
agree.
Well, I think, I disagree. I think
But it
that
is a vacant lot, right?
It's a
It
vacant
is,
lot
absolutely.
that is no different
All
than
right,
any other
We're
lots
talking
in the
about
neighborhood.
topography.
I understand.
If it was on the market
How is
today,
the
it'd be a
topography
different,
from one
That
lot
makes
to
it unique.
another different just because it has a house?
Well, I'll tell you
Tell me
this.
how that works.
If this had a house on it and I wanted to do a raise and replace, I could do it with a special
Yeah,
permit.
but you can't.
I understand that, but that makes it
Because it's-
unique.
Yeah, I can say a lot of things on that basis, right?
Right.
I mean,
But it makes it unique.
correct.
All right.
I think
I've-
what's
I've had
on-
my say.
All right. So what, I'm gonna take it this way. So Mike, talk to me. What is your thoughts?
Well, I mean, you guys have been doing this a lot longer than I have. But then you still have a little bit of a split
Yep.
over there on that side of the board.
I don't think
In
you should
some
ask
ways,
Mike
it
first.
seems grossly unfair for, sort of bait and switch the rules.
Here's the
but-
problem though, where it's not, the board is in reference, is not.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not the
That's
issue
right.
for this board to be, it's
That's-
not
that's-
fair.
that's
It's-
fair. That's a fair
We need to
point.
follow guidelines and
Yep.
rules and laws and regulations, that's our job. Period.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I think you could find in this particular case.
Oh, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to ask him to change his opinion
Right.
in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, when he just said, it doesn't seem fair,
Right.
that's
Well-
not our job.
No, understood, but
I mean, I kind of wish it was, although I'm glad that it isn't,
Right.
because being fair, I mean, what's that criteria?
right. Well, I mean, it does, you do look at substantial hardship.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I
it's one of the
get it, but-
criteria.
But variance is a variance, and
Right.
you understand that.
Yeah,
It's not about
absolutely.
fairness. As a matter of fact, I mean, I'm reading, the Bible, and it says, many people try to be fair, and that's not in the best interest of the law, technically.
I understand that, but in this particular case, I think,
Yeah.
you have somebody who bought a piece of land that at the time was buildable. It is unbuildable through no hardship. He didn't create this issue.
No
It was
question.
created by a case that came out that he, wasn't a part of. So, he'd have no reason not to, to think that, he had a rush to get a building permit or anything like that. And, I just disagree. I think that the fact that it's vacant, along with the topography does make it unique. And I think the board can consider that as part of
Well,
uniqueness.
we've got to move on. So what are your thoughts, Mike? Because what's gonna happen, I'm just gonna listen to the board a little longer, then we're gonna vote.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think I've come to my own conclusion, all right?
Okay? So I think we're understanding where you're from, right? We're understanding where you're from. I haven't heard anything to change my opinion, which is, I'm concerned about uniqueness, frankly. Sharon, what do you think?
The lot is not unique for the neighborhood. What is unique is the only undeveloped lot. That's the uniqueness of the lot. But topography, it's not unique. So it does not have unique topography.
That's what the law says.
Yeah, it does not have
Topography,
unique,
it doesn't say topography with a house or without a house.
it does not have unique
Well,
topography.
I would also suggest that perhaps maybe it makes this one unique. It's, it has 470 feet of upland. Not all lots necessarily are partially or,
That doesn't matter. We're talking about shape, topography, or soil condition.
right, is that not a unique topography issue, that it's has partial upland and partial flood zone land?
Well, let's move the question. I don't believe, anybody in the audience, I'm not so sure I need to go to the audience, but I think in the interest
I don't
of,
think you should.
yeah,
I don't think that's a wise move.
why don't we leave it
It's
alone?
our
then?
decision.
Yeah. All right, so, let's take a vote here. I'm gonna go roll call. Mike?
Well, I want to make sure I get the question right. Just read that out for me
Okay.
again.
The property, you have to find in the positive, right?
Yeah.
The property has unique conditions that justify the request.
No.
So it doesn't have unique in your opinion.
I think it does.
I think it doesn't.
It does not to me.
It does not to you. It does not to me either.
All right, well, what I'd like to do, because there is a case that recently came out, which I think would maybe,
But let me finish.
yeah.
What I'd like to do is go through all four, because I have a concern, I have a bigger concern than a couple others.
Okay.
So I think it's important for you, as representing the applicant, that we go through four, because if you find out that out of the four, three of them this board has a problem with, it may change your opinion of giving us something. I don't know, right? Does that make sense? I think it's important. So the next one is, the property owner faces substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, if the ordinance is strictly enforced. Now, understand, financial isn't in reference specifically of, hey, I invested money in this lot and lost it. That's not what the courts are talking about.
What are they talking about?
It's, I've done that research, and it's awful hard to come up with, in my opinion, a financial hardship that meets that criteria.
how so?
Tell me tell me a financial hardship, and I'll tell you a defense to it. Go ahead.
The fact that
Yeah.
that he bought the lot for $975,000 is not a financial hardship? Because if you deny the variance, that money is basically burnt?
Let me read something to you. Do you know Mark Bombrowski?
I know him very well. Well, I
Do
mean, I
you
don't
think he
personally know
has-
him, I know the book.
So he's one of my lawyers. But anyway, do you believe that he knows what he's speaking about most of the time?
I would say most of the time.
Yes. This is in reference to financial hardship.
Yep.
The cases that turn on the issue of hardship are notable for describing what does not amount to a statutory showing. For example, it is well settled that a personal hardship, however heart-rending, is not a proper factor for consideration, nor is personal financial hardship because of the lost profits, prior expenditures, or resale value.
Well, I'm not asking for any of that. I'm not asking about resale value. I'm not asking about profits. I'm simply saying he paid money for a lot
I
that,
think you said that, didn't you?
That was
Yeah.
buildable that now
Right.
isn't.
The proximity of the land or structure to non-conforming use or the boundary of particular is not statutory hardship either. My point is, well, he's saying a financial hardship. He could have spent whatever he spent for that. That is not a financial hardship. Not in reference to this application.
I have a
I
question.
disagree.
This is a fairly decent-sized home. Could a smaller house be developed for that property? If it,
You could not build a smaller house
If we don't find,
meet the lot
if we
coverage.
don't find all four of these in the positive,
Okay.
he can't build technically any home.
Okay.
Any residence.
The lot doesn't have enough upland where I could come before this.
it's not a build, if we don't, this is not a buildable lot. If we
Correct.
say it's not.
Even though this town has been more than happy to collect taxes,
Yeah.
is that not a financial hardship?
I don't, okay.
So again-
My opinion.
Again, the property
seems
owner
unfair.
faces substantial
what we're
hardship,
judging.
financial or otherwise, if the ordinance is strictly enforced.
But 2 years ago was a buildable lot.
I get it. And it stinks.
Okay.
And in my
And I
opinion,
can't vote
it's a
against it.
shame, but so far, I don't know what to say.
Okay.
Other than we
We all
have to
have our
take each
opinions.
individual
Okay.
item as it comes to us. And this is,
Okay.
these 4 items, we need to find either yay or nay.
Yeah.
And I just don't want the applicant leaving figuring that we couldn't find one, if in fact we don't find 2 or 3 of them. I think it's important for him to know where we stand as a board on all 4 items. I think it's very important. So,
Well, I read the passage thoroughly before this meeting, and it doesn't seem to me, and again, I feel like it's unfair, but it doesn't meet the criteria of a hardship based on that clause, that reading.
Yeah, there's strong language there. It's very,
I look at it as if he bought the lot, and then, and it wasn't, this was the issue when he bought it, and he's trying to get us to flip it, I can see the point. But when he bought it, it was a buildable lot. Then they changed the wetland rule, and that made it, to my
they
opinion.
didn't, no.
they didn't really change it.
No, the
They
court
changed
said
Well, they
our-
enforced it.
we were
yeah.
not overseeing it. We
well-
were not interpreting it correctly.
I'm sure if he
Right.
got
Nothing
advised,
was
he wouldn't have
changed.
bought this lot if he was advised differently when he bought the lot.
Oh,
So it's my opinion. So I think it's a financial hardship. That's my opinion.
Jonathan?
I don't think it's a hardship. I agree with you on what you said. I think the guy's in a tough position, but I didn't write the law. None of us wrote the law. We're here to interpret it.
Yeah, but we can still give a variance, so.
Sharon?
The only hardship I see is the tax rate. He
Well,
should
that should be,
change.
that, I think that
That's the hardship
the
I
owner
see.
can go in there and into the
Well, I don't think that's. in the-
assessor's office and explain it's an unbuildable lot and get that tax
I
rate.
think that's between the owner and.
Absolutely.
That has
But
nothing
that's,
to do with-
nothing to
that
do with
literally.
us.
I get
yeah,
what you're
but
saying,
that's-
but
In Payne's
that has nothing to do with
He
today's
bought a
decision, in
buildable
my
lot.
opinion. What is your opinion in reference to the financial hardship itself?
I don't see that.
You don't see it.
Just the tax rate.
All right, and I don't see it either. So let's take the next one. Granting the variance will not cause substantial detriment to the public good. Discussion?
Well, I don't see how it causes,
It's no different than any home in that, so I don't see it's an issue at all.
Yeah, I have no issue with
I don't
that.
see it as an issue either. I don't think that's an issue whatsoever. So do we also?
I agree with that.
You agree with that?
Unanimous.
You agree with that? I agree with it?
I agree with it.
So in reference to the granting of the variance will not cause substantial detriment to the public good, everybody voted in favor of that. Granting the variance will not nullify or substantially derogate from the intent of the ordinance. So in other words, right now, we are all aware, per a judge, that he cannot use floodplain as lot coverage. And so he does not have enough land technically. Okay, so the bottom line is granting the variance will not nullify or substantially derogate from the intent of the ordinance. Who knows what the intent of the ordinance was when they wrote that ordinance years ago? I mean, we always thought that floodplain had nothing to do with it. We were told that it did by a judge. And so awful hard to make that decision. As one, I'm okay with that because frankly, I think that even we, as a board, felt that that this lot would have been a buildable lot up till today if we didn't have a judge telling us differently.
Right.
So I think that one is okay.
I agree.
I
I
agree.
agree.
So let's go. So,
I
yes.
agree.
Scott?
Yes?
Yes,
And yes. So, Counselor, you've got the first 2 items that the board does not agree with you on. So at this point, I don't know if there's something you can do to work with the board, to show the board, or if you have an intent of giving us something or doing something that will, possibly change our opinions.
Sure. I would like the opportunity to do that.
And I hope you can do that. And I will say that publicly. I really hope you can do that. But I'm doing what I have to do.
Understood.
Okay, and I think everybody in this board hopes you can do that.
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody, you hear it. I mean, I love to see you do it.
If the guy waited 20 years in the law changing, he waited 20 years to build a house, I'd have a different opinion, but he didn't buy it that long ago, so
Listen,
opinion's different.
I look forward to getting my opinions changed in those first two items. So how would you like to manage this?
I guess I'd like a continuance of whatever your next available would be. I know we're pretty busy coming up, so it might be March, but, whatever.
When would it be? March 12th?
Yeah.
So you'd like to have an extension until March 12th,
Yes.
2025?
Yeah.
The applicant's attorney is asking for an extension till March 12th, 2025. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Gotta wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sign something.
We have to sign. I think it's extended.
Yeah, we have to sign this extension form.
That's a raw deal.
I feel that's horrible.
She's over there.
You bought a buildable lot, now it's not a buildable lot. That's unique. My opinion. But what do I know? I'm not a lawyer.
I think all of us have the same opinion that I stated to council.
Yep, she has it.
Oh, nice, well done.
It was very well organized.
Okay.
Want me to read the next one?
I'm
We
being
gotta
told
vote.
we have to wait till we sign this document, or I'm gonna get yelled at.
You will get.
By me.
See? There you go, see?
We were allowed to talk while we're sitting here?
Not about anything specific as far as,
Well, not anything about this, but I took a tour of the police station.
yes?
Needs help?
Disgraceful.
Needs help.
Disgraceful. I mean, pictures of rats all around and mice, and, it's unhealthy, dangerous.
And you're going on public record stating this?
I am.
Nice.
And I guess it'll come to a town meeting soon, sometime soon, and
Yeah.
I'll be voting for a new police station.
I remember
The
when
fire
that was
department has that
built.
beautiful building across the street, and the police department has.
Oh,
They
my
were built
God.
at the same time.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they went up at the same time.
The police and the fire department?
Yeah, they
Absolutely.
were, I thought that.
Oh, that
No,
police station's been
can't
there
be.
for a long time.
Since
The fire depart-
1974, I think they
Yeah,
said.
that fire station's what,
I remember
12,
when the
15 years
police
old?
station was down by the fields.
Yeah, but that place is, well, you've been there a long time.
Yeah. But the
No,
fire,
that fire station was that was a big deal when that got built.
I thought they went in at the same time. I went to that old police station when I was a kid.
Oh, you happened to go to the old police station, did you?
Yes.
Why?
I've never
Because
seen
my-
a police
my-
station.
Were you called in?
I was all of 10. A 10-year-old doesn't want you to go to the police station.
We could have passed it back.
Knee replacements seize up after a while.
Was that so? Thank you for that, Mike.
Want a little camera time anyway.
All right, who would like to read? I don't want to lean on Mike too much here, it's.
I can
who would
read
like
it.
to? All
I'll
right, Sharon,
read
would you like to read 157 Daniels Island Road into the record, please?
157 Daniel Island Road. Owners Frank T. and Christina O. Varianos request a special permit under 174-17.1 and 174-33 of the zoning bylaws to raise and replace an existing single-family residential structure with a new code-compliant single-family residential structure on property located in an R3 zoning district, map 105, parcel 272, Mashpee, Mass. Continued from January 8th, 2025, hearing at the request of the attorney. 157 Daniel Island Road. Owners Frank T. and Christina O. Varianos request a variance under 174-31 from lot coverage, existing lot coverage of 17.8% and proposed lot coverage is 21.9%. The owners are requesting to raise and replace an existing single-family residential structure with a new code-compliant, single-family residential structure on property located in R3 zoning district,
Mike.
map 105, parcel 272, Mashpee, Mass., continued from January 8, 2025, hearing at the request of the attorney.
So counsel, I think the way to handle this, and I'm open for suggestions, is to probably hear the variance first.
Okay?
You know what I'm saying? And that way, if it works out, then we proceed.
Well, I would actually suggest probably doing the variance second, because if you recall, when I proposed and requested the variance at the last meeting, the board suggested do something so you don't need to request it anymore, and so we've done that.
Well,
Yeah, that's
so,
my
but
Yeah.
I'm open-minded.
Yeah, that's why I was confused, because
Yeah,
it's asking for that, and they don't,
I'm
Right.
open-minded if you want to take the other first. Just understand that we could go through this whole thing, and then at the end, go through those 4 steps and find out that you don't meet them, and...
Well, I may not need the variance request, I may be
Oh, I see.
withdrawing it, is what I'm
All right.
saying.
So if you want to present,
Yeah.
be my guest. If
Right.
not, that's fine.
So this is a raise and replace project. The lot is partially within the flood zone, so we have 12,800 square feet of actual upland lot area with 32,600 square feet of total lot area. But again, we have to reduce that because of the flood zone. The setback to wetlands is 0 square feet. So originally, what had been proposed by the proponent, the applicant, was an increase in actual lot coverage from 17.8% to 21 point something percent, which necessitated the request for the variance. The board asked us to see if we could reduce that so we wouldn't need the request for variance. So what we've done is, we've reduced the size of the house. Lot coverage is at 20%, which meets your bylaw.
So why didn't we waste our time with the second one?
What do you mean?
Well, the second one is the second one was actually in reference to a variance request.
Because that was the original
Yeah, but
proposal.
shouldn't you have withdrawn that?
Well, we continued it, so I'm withdrawing.
He can't withdraw it yet, he continued it.
I continued it from the last hearing, and we're going to withdraw it tonight.
So would you like to withdraw it now? Yeah. That's my, what I'm saying is,
Oh, I understand what you're saying, yeah.
okay.
Yes,
So
but
we-
I am asking for the variance to be withdrawn without prejudice, or, I mean.
All right, so I'd like to get a motion that we withdraw the variance,
I'll make that motion.
and without prejudice.
Second.
All's in favor? Aye. That was my point.
Oh, understood. So at this point in time, the only nonconformity is the setback to wetland. And at, the existing house was 0. We're actually able to actually give a little bit of a buffer. It's not much, it's 4.5 feet, but we are moving it further away from the flood zone than what was originally proposed. So that's, a benefit. It was approved by conservation. It's going to be building code compliant. It's an IA septic system, stormwater management, consistent with development in the neighborhood. So, I think, it meets the criteria under the raise and replace.
Great. So letters, reference to town agencies or abutters, et cetera.
I have Board of Health.
Could you read it, please?
157 Daniel Island Road. House is designed for 3 bedrooms, 1 on the first floor and 2 on the second floor. Septic designed for 3 bedrooms with IA technology.
Great. Any other letters?
Conservation. I can read. Resource area, 157 Daniels Island Road, resource areas LSCSF in buffer zone to coastal bank. NOI application was approved with a 4-to-1 vote with the condition of a cobble apron at the end of the driveway, improved erosion control, 3-year mitigation and monitoring contract with a certified professional biweekly construction reports, and waiver adjustments on buffer distance. Raise and replace of dwelling with other improvements to the property will create better conditions for resource areas than what currently exist. Concerns to the coastal bank will be monitored throughout the construction process to ensure no adverse impact occurs, and mitigation will be monitored for 3 years. Resource areas LSCSF and buffer zone to coastal bank. Plan revision was administratively approved due to reduction in dwelling footprint being proposed.
Any other letters? Okay. Board questions?
I think they They did what we asked them. with the-
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
what-
I have no issues.
Okay. David?
I would just want to say that the house is maxed out, so if they even want to put a shed on there, they can't do that without a variance from the board.
Okay. Audience input. Anyone in the audience have anything to say in reference to this application? Seeing none, okay. Gonna go one more time, board?
I'm good.
Okay. Motion to close the public hearing, please.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion in reference to the application. Who would like to make it?
I got it.
Okay.
All right, I can make a motion to approve 157 Daniels Island Road, owners Frank T. and Christina O. Marinos, request a special permit under section 174-17.1 and section 174-33 of the zoning bylaws to raise and replace an existing single-family residential structure with a new code-compliant single-family residential structure on property located in an R3 zoning district, map 105, parcel 272, Mashpee, Mass, with the following conditions. The board has determined that the applicant meets all the conditions of a special permit under Mass General Law 40A, Section 9. Plot plan 157 Daniels Island Road, Mashpee, Mass, dated November 18, 2024, scale 1 inch equals 20 feet, prepared by Down Cape Engineering, stamped and signed by Dan Ojala, P.E., PLS, date 1/23/25, date January 2, 2025, per Concom approval, date January 23rd, 2025, per ZBA. 3, building plans, Varinos Residence, 157 Daniels Island Road, date January 16, 2025, A1 foundation plan, A2 first floor plan, A3 second floor plan, A4 elevations, A5 elevations, prepared by Architect Associates. Conditioned on all town department comments read into the record, including but not limited to the Board of Health and Conservation Department comments. 5, any changes to plans will require the applicant to return to the board. 6, condition that the applicant seek and obtain the building department review in reference to the tree bylaw, chapter 175 of the town bylaws prior to the application of a building permit. 7, the board finds under section 174-17.1 and 174-33 that the proposed project as submitted is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing conditions prior to the removal of the existing structure, and that there is adequate land area on the subject lot to provide sufficient parking, and there is no new nonconformities being created.
I just have one question. I mean, those two letters were the only letters even from the prior application, right? From the prior public hearing? Okay. Sorry. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. I was just concerned. I thought we might have had a letter or something, DPW or something from the prior meeting, that we had to put something in motion.
There's extra lines, so.
Extra lines. Extra lines. What else have I got to sign? Come on. It's the first time I ever got you. See that? Usually you get me. I love it.
Coming back.
Usually I'm sitting here and all this stuff's coming at me,
People we
right?
made happy.
What?
Look how many people we made happy here.
They weren't happy last time they were here.
They weren't.
Mike, she signed this?
Mike, signature. Why are you sitting so far away?
Well, Charlie's supposed to be here. He
Yeah,
was
good
gonna
point.
come late, and so,
He's in Boston.
I don't know what you're gonna do with.
Well, the
if
only
he's not
concerns
here
me
when
is we
to-
get down to Kim Path, right? I
Yeah,
hope we get you
that's
by
up to
then.
you to, if you wanna continue it.
Wow, we cleared that place out.
Although, not too often we have a 4-to-1 vote, or a 3-to-2 vote. That can happen. Shouldn't be. Good team on it.
All right. So who would like to read 90 Wheeler Road?
I will.
Go.
All right, 90 Willow Road, owners George L. Rice and Jennifer C. Rice, request a special permit, 174-17.1 and 174-33 of the zoning bylaws to raise and replace an existing single-family residential structure on property located in an R5 zoning district, map 57, parcel 16, Mashpee, Mass. Received letter from attorney requesting a continuance until February 26th, 2025. Hearing.
Counselor?
Good evening again, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Attorney Christopher Crane for the applicants. We are requesting a continuance of this matter because it is not going, it's going back before conservation on the Thursday before our ZBA, so we haven't got through conservation yet.
And we have a letter to that effect?
Yes.
Could you read that, Sharon, into the record?
Okay, it's dated January 28th, and it's in regards to George and Jennifer Rice, 20 Wheeler Road. Dear Chairman Bonvy, as you know, we represent the owners of the property referred above. It is hereby requested that the scheduled hearing for Wednesday, February 12, 2025, be further continued until Wednesday, February 26, 2025, as the applicants will not be going before the Conservation Commission until February 20th, 2025. Thank you for your attention. Very truly yours, Christopher J. Kareem.
Is the 26th work, Mary Ann? Yes. Like to get a motion in reference to the letter, please?
I'll make the motion to accept it.
Second?
All's in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Just sign that too.
All right.
Well, I gotta sign this continuance, right?
Well, but you might want to find out,
If he's even gonna.
correct. You may not have to leave.
So does all one have four?
Correct. Counselor, we're still signing this, you might want to think about where.
Four people.
Yeah, would it be inappropriate to ask the board if we could take it out of order to see if Charlie arrives? If we could take 33 Russell and...
Is there anyone in the audience here for Kim Path?
Does he
Nah, he raised his hand, no, he can't. Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I don't see a problem.
Okay.
I like that idea. Because if he does come, I can go.
You saying,
You want to leave?
We're going to Charlie. He's home alone.
We're moving along quite nicely today.
I don't think he'll be here.
My Charlie.
Oh. Everyone's working. The real Charlie.
The important Charlie. To me,
So,
he's good.
Is he put on any weight or is he still?
Think about.
the workout with those things.
No, I'm coming to you.
Come on down.
Thanks.
Bringing it back. No, he's not much. He's about the same.
who's this?
My dog.
Here's a Cavapoo named Charlie. I have a Cavapoo named Charlie.
But his is fat.
This is thin. Oh. He was really thin.
My dog weighs 3.5 pounds.
All right,
So there.
We can so Charlie can still go on the plane with us.
all right, let's move on.
All right, that being said, so what we're gonna do is take the applications out of order. We're gonna take 33 Russell Road next. Who would like to read it into the record? Mike?
Sure. 33 Russell Road, owner Carol A. Marassa requests a written finding under 174-17 to allow for the construction of a farmer's porch to the front of a pre-existing, non-conforming dwelling and enclose an existing deck to a three-season porch on property located in an R3 zoning district, map 120, parcel 105, Mashpee, Massachusetts.
Good evening again, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Attorney Christopher Crane for the applicant. I just want to make one procedural note. I actually, and Dave can, speak to this as well. The front farmer's porch doesn't actually need any relief from the board because it actually complies with your front yard setback. Because if you take the average of the setbacks of the two adjoining properties, we meet that. So we don't need it. I put it in the application because it is part of the project, but that actually doesn't need relief from this board.
You concur with that, David?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't have that information when it was.
Right. So I just wanted to make that
Zoning
note. to the-
enforcement officer agrees?
Perfect. So the only thing that we're asking for relief is a written finding under 174-17, and that is for the enclosure of this deck. So this deck exists today, it is 10.3 feet off the property line, which is not conforming. We're looking to enclose this, create a sunroom. It's gonna stay in the same footprint, so we're not creating any new nonconformities, we're not expanding the existing nonconformity. It's just, where that deck is now gonna be a sunroom.
Well, that's good.
Because it's changing from a deck to a screen porch, it has to come to us?
Because it's nonconforming, and it will continue to be nonconforming.
But the footprint doesn't change.
The footprint is not changing.
Okay, I'm good.
So do we have a letter from Board of Health, I hope?
Let me see, I got Board of Health.
So, are you all done with your submittal?
Yes.
Okay.
You wanna hear Board
So
of Health?
letters, why don't we read letters?
Board of Health, 33 Russell Road. House to remain 3-bedroom, 3-season room, not fit for sleeping room.
Perfect. Any other letters from agencies or boards or committees?
Conservation,
Conservation, 33 Russell Road, not within wetland jurisdiction.
Okay?
easy.
Any other letters? Board questions?
I asked mine.
I'm good.
David, question?
I'm good.
Audience, any questions from anyone in the audience? Okay, any board questions? I'm gonna, one more time.
No, it's going
good.
to.
All right, motion to close public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Anyone second it, please?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion reference the application, please.
I get that. I'd like to make a motion to approve 33 Russell Road, owner Carol A. Marassa, requests a written finding under section 174-17 to allow for construction of a farmer's porch to the front of the pre-existing non-conforming dwelling and enclose an existing deck to a 3-season porch. Do we have to have that?
You don't have to have the front farmer's porch, you
Yeah,
don't
that
need
doesn't
in the
need to be
motion.
there, so can I
Just
just
the-
strike that part?
Just the 3-season.
Enclose an existing deck to a 3-season porch on property located in R3 zoning district, map 120, parcel 105, Mashpee, Mass. with the following conditions. Number one, the board has determined that the applicant meets all the conditions of a written finding under Mass General Law 40A, Section 6. Two, site plan, 33 Russell Road, Mashpee, Mass., prepared for Murray Construction, Colley Site Services, LLC, date 7/24/24, scale 1 inch equals 20 feet, drawn by SAP, sheet 1 of 1, revised 11/20/24, and 1/8/25, stamped and signed by Richard J. Hood, number 35031, date January 9th, 2025. Number three, building plan prepared for Marassa Residence, 33 Russell Road, Mashpee, Mass. Custom covered farmer's porch and 3-season room with roof deck above, prepared by Cedarville Design, date 8/28/24, revised 8/30/24. Sheet A1 foundation plans and notes, A2 first and second floor plans, and window door schedules, A3 front, left, and rear elevations, S1 framing plans, S2 section details. Number four, conditioned on all town department comments read into the record, including but not limited to the Conservation Department and Board of Health. Number five, any changes to the plans will require the applicant to return to this board. Number six, condition that the applicant seek and obtain the building department review in reference to the tree bylaw, chapter 175 of the town bylaws prior to the application of this building permit. Number seven, the board finds under section 174-17 and 174-33 that the proposed project is not substantially more detrimental than the pre-existing non-conforming structure or use to either the town or the neighborhood.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Do you want to take,
So we're in a little bit of a predicament.
take the other business?
I don't think I can take other business. We gotta close out our normal business first.
Okay.
I wish I could, but I can't. I was trying to figure out a way around it,
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
I can't. I don't wanna say to you, move forward. You gotta make your own decisions.
Yeah, I'm comfortable going before 4 members of this board. If this board has request changes or they have concerns that we need to address, obviously we have the Mullen Rule that says that somebody can view it and if they watch it, they can be a voting member at the next meeting.
You can ask for,
Exactly.
That's what I'm gathering.
You know, I'll certainly-
I gotta sign the last one then.
understood.
All right, so Mary Ann, am I excused? Oh, I have to ask you if I'm excused?
He's gonna slide down.
We're the beneficiary of that switch of.
It worked out pretty well. That worked out pretty well. It never usually works out that way.
Mike, why don't you move to this seat here?
I will.
Nice and
Ron,
warm.
Mary Ann wants you.
What?
Skype would be on the other business, like,
Here you go, John.
East Spoon River?
You think so? Just let him go, you mean?
Do you want him here or not?
It's up to you. I mean, you don't have to stick around. I mean, I
If you
think,
don't think you need me for it, then.
Well, do we need 5 people? That's the question.
well, it is a question. So, Counselor, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Reference to 42 Spoondrift, do you want Scott to stick around? Well,
I'm more than happy to do whatever.
more
you
than
want.
happy to stick around if you want.
I don't think it's
Do you
necessary.
need 5?
I think it would be this, it's,
Does
no,
he have
I
to
think you can
sign
have
everything?
4, I think you might have 3, because it's kind of like an administrative request, so.
All right, I'm gonna leave it up to you.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Okay.
necessary, thank you.
Thank
So
you.
this is also, there you go.
We need the stuff.
All right.
Wait, no.
I know, I know.
He's a good dog. Rocky at times, but he's a good dog.
Aren't they all?
All right, thank you, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, no, let me, I gotta check that thing. Hold on a second.
Bring your book.
My phone and my...
Here we go.
I'm almost positive.
All right, so,
Yeah, I will not be here for 26.
Mike, would you like to read the next one, which is 50 Kim Path, into the record,
right.
please?
John's got me moving here.
You want me to read it?
50 Kim Path, owner Beth A. McGinnis, trustee of the Beth McGinnis Family Trust, requests a special permit under 174-17.1 and 174-33 of the zoning bylaws to raise and replace an existing single-family residential structure on property located in the R3 and Pompanesett overlay districts, map 117, parcel 95, Mashpee, Massachusetts.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Attorney Christopher Corain representing the applicant, owner of 50 Kim Path. As noted in the public hearing notice, this is a request for a raise and replace under 174-17.1 and relief under 174-33, your 50-foot setback to wetland provision. This house is located in the Pompanesett Overlay District. In the Pompanesett Overlay District, it requires 6,000 minimum square feet of 6,000 square feet of lot area, 60 feet of frontage, 25-foot minimum front yard setback, 15-foot minimum side and rear setbacks, 25% lot coverage, and a 50-foot setback to wetland. We have 4 current nonconformities on this lot. The first is we have 0 square feet of lot area because it is completely within the flood zone. While the lot itself actually has 7,125 square feet of area, total area, it's 100% in the flood zone, 0 square feet. That means we can't meet the 50-foot setback to the wetland. It means we have 100% lot coverage. And then the only other dimensional nonconformity is the southwest side yard setback, which is 9.3 feet, where 15 feet is required. So what we're proposing is to knock down the existing structure and replace it with a new structure. The coverage as a percentage of the total area is increasing from 22.3% to 24.6%. This represents an increase of approximately 165 square feet, and under your old method, would be under the 25%. It will be flood zone and building code compliant. There's an IA system that's being proposed. Mark Dibb from Cape and Islands is with us tonight, and he's designed the stormwater management and the septic system, so he can certainly answer any questions in that regard. This project was approved by the Conservation Commission. There are no new nonconformities being created. We are improving the one side yard nonconformity. It's going from 9.3 to 10, so that nonconformity is being improved. We're not creating any new nonconformities. We're not intensifying the existing nonconformities. Other than lot coverage, I suggest. It's consistent with the neighborhood. I would compare this favorably to 54 Kim Path, which this was approved by this board in the fall. I would note that 54 Kim Path was bigger, so they actually did a 287 square foot increase. So that coverage was 24.83%. So a little bit of bigger approval. Same size lot. It had the same side yard nonconformity, which was also being improved. So again, I would say this project compares very similar to 54 Kim Path, which was approved by this board. It is a raised system. So again, I noted that when we started this project to Mark, to be sensitive to those concerns that were raised at 54 Kim Path. I think he's adequately addressed those and certainly can answer those things for the board. I think in this particular case, I think there's probably a lot more plantings that were proposed as this one as opposed to 54 Kim Path to help with stormwater management. And also, Mark has proposed, unlike kind of the typical dry wells you see here, he's doing this, quick floor infiltrator. I don't really know what that is, but, Mark can certainly explain those things. So again, we have the typical flood zone nonconformities, 100% lot coverage, 0 square feet to the wetland. The one-dimensional nonconformity is being improved. We're under the 25% as a, percentage of total area. And, it's similar to most of the projects in this area. And again, this board approved a project at 54 Kim Path, which was basically the same project.
Okay, letters from agencies? Or abutters, or anyone else?
Board of Health, where are we, 50? Board of Health, plans show 3-bedroom, septic is designed for 3-bedroom.
That's what conservation says. All right, conservation says, resource area, land subject to coastal storm flowage, LSCSF. NOI application was approved unanimously due to improvements to site conditions that include septic upgrade, increased native plantings, and decrease in lawn, flood compliant foundation, and storm water management system.
Any other letters, Marion? Okay, board questions? I'll have mine, but anyone else?
No, I'm gonna refer to you because my question is,
So Mark, you're up to the plate, my man. How you doing?
it's a very wet area down there.
So it looks to me like you've dealt with the water, which was on the abutter side, on the right side. So are we pushing all the water to the northwest? What concerns me is, I would presume you're keeping all the water on the lot up to a 25-year storm.
We are, again, Mark Dibb, civil engineer with Cape and Islands Engineering. We are managing the impervious areas through roof runoff. The site, actually, existing site, I believe, I can take a closer look, is slopes from the northwest towards the front and towards the southeast existing. So we're not modifying the direction of runoff. We're substantially infiltrating more than is on the site. And we're also, it's designed to allow floodwaters to both come and go on the site from the east, from the ocean. And, if a flood that brought water to elevation 12, it would come into the site and leave the site, similar to what it does today.
And it would presumably leave the site at Kim Path. It's
Correct,
gonna flow to the south.
correct.
So it's
how do
gonna
we
flow
deal with
to
Kim-
Kim Path towards the ocean.
Yeah, how do we
That
deal with
corner.
Kim Path? I mean, it's always been a concern of mine, whenever I drive down Kim Path and I look both ways and I see this valley that goes right through Kim Path, right? Basically, kinda. It's not, I'm exaggerating.
Kim
but-
Path is the valley?
Yeah. And I sit there and I say, all right, everything's shedding onto Kim Path. So I guess a better question is, have you not increased the velocity or the volume, or the water, the velocity or the amount of water leaving this site up to a 25-year storm?
Yes, we have not increased it. It should be
Not increased.
drastically reduced
So
by,
you have reduced it. So the water issue that exists on Kim Path, the flooding issue, should up to a 25-year storm be reduced a little bit.
yes, I agree.
It certainly isn't made worse.
Correct.
Question that begs to be asked, and I gotta ask it even at, I may not have a right to ask it, but what happens in the 50, 75, the 100-year storm?
Water will just come up. I mean, most of Kim Path is only at elevation 6 or 7.
Yeah.
It's going to be 6 feet underwater.
Do these people understand on Kim Path, all these new people, they're not getting out of Kim Path in a major flood
Yes.
event.
Well,
Their car's underwater. Do they know that? I mean, I don't
Do
know. You
they
can't
know
answer
that?
question, but it's like there should be a disclaimer on all these plans that says, do not try to leave your house in a major rain event, storm event. Don't do it, because you're not gonna get out.
I hope through this process, and the whole reason everything's designed, it's designed at 13 because the flood elevation is 12. I hope that they are learning that water could be at elevation 12 in a 100-year storm event. But as soon as it passes.
I get it, you have design criteria, you're meeting the design criteria, you're doing what the regulations say you need to do, I get it, I totally understand it, but I just wish there was a disclaimer on all the telephone poles down there, these little pieces of paper that says, if you hear a major flood event coming your way, stay out of your house and get the hell out of here. Because.
Go to the third floor.
Well, it's gonna be really a bad situation, right? It really is. But I understand, I guess as a board, we don't, I mean, as a member of this board, I can't ask him for any more than what he's required to design to. But it's still, on the other side of one of the applications tonight, I felt bad, but on this one, I'm sitting there saying, this is not a good scenario, but I can't do anything about it.
Well, I think one of the points that I think Mark, and I don't want to speak for Mark, but he's saying that what he's designed improves stormwater management.
Up to a 25.
Right.
But I'm saying because of the ground, he's got no storage capacity. He doesn't have virtually anything. I know what's gonna happen in a large event. He's done. There's nothing he can do.
I mean, even if it was designed for a 100-year storm, it's not going to handle the ocean coming in. And that's what, this is not a 100-year.
Or even in between that that they're gonna have major issues. At a 3-foot event, you don't need,
But it's, as soon as it's ocean water affecting this lot, there's no, stormwater management standards
The
don't,
whole area is below sea level.
yeah,
here's the best
below
question.
flood level.
The best question I can ask is, have you met all design criteria, to the best of your knowledge, have you met all existing drainage design criteria with this plan?
yes.
That's all I can do at this point. Because frankly, and the problem is I know we're gonna have when the flood event comes, there's gonna be issues there. But, I get it. It's a shame. It's just, it's one of the areas that maybe should have never been built in, I don't know.
We have enough parking for 2 vehicles?
Yes, we do.
Each side of the front lawn, I guess? Well, will that side hold 2?
Oh, I think you should put one here and one here. I don't mark my deal. That's there. Yeah, you can easily put a car there and easily put a car there.
And the entire turnaround is also parking. There's an oval.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, you have the whole front is pervious.
So it's set back, what?
25.5 feet from now.
Oh, got it.
Which is compliant in the Pompanesett Overlay District.
Got it.
So you've not created any new nonconformities?
Nope, I have not. And the side yard is being improved.
Any other board questions? No. David, you have any questions?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Audience, anyone in the audience have anything to say about this application? Okay, again, I'll go back to the board again. All right, motion to close the public hearing, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
I'd just like to say one thing, I wish there was something we could put that says, beware.
Right, no, understood.
I just don't want to listen to it.
Right, I mean, the only thing,
When the time comes,
Right.
I don't want to listen to it.
I guess FEMA could treat it as a velocity zone, make everybody put it on pilings, I guess.
No, I'm just saying, I don't want somebody sitting in your seat someday giving me hell because we approved something that we shouldn't have. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
So, all right,
Oh, it won't be me.
yeah, well,
Or me.
I'm not going to listen to it. because, you know, there's rules and regulations and you've followed them. So I'd like to get a motion in reference to the application, please.
Sure. Go for it.
I will wait for it, okay. Kim Path. 50 Kim Path. Owners Beth A. McGinnis, trustee of the Beth McGinnis Family Trust, requests a special permit under 174-17.1 and 174-33 of the zoning bylaws to raise and replace an existing single-family residential structure on property located in an R3 and Papaneset overlay districts, map 117, parcel 95, Mashpee, Mass, with the following conditions. 1, the board has determined that the applicant meets all the conditions of a special permit under Mass General Laws 40A, Section 9. 2, site plan prepared for Beth Prunier Project, 50 Kim Path, Mashpee, Mass. Sheet 1 of 1 dated November 26, 2024. Drawn by JVB, checked by MC, prepared by Cape and Islands Engineering, revised January 2nd, 2025. Add landscape area / lawn area identification, January 13th, 2025. Add additional native strip on outside of wall. 3, design development plans, Prunier Residence, 50 Kim Path, Mashpee, Mass, prepared by Archiplicity LLC, Sheet 1, first floor and second floor plans, Sheet 2, elevation plans dated December 16th, 2024. 4, condition on all town department comments read into the record, including but not limited to the Board of Health and Conservation Department comments. 5, any changes to the plan will require the applicant to return to this board. 6, condition that the applicant seek and obtain the building department review in reference to the tree bylaw, chapter 175 of the town bylaws prior to the application of a building permit. 7, the board finds that under 174-17.1 and 174-33, that the proposed project as submitted is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing conditions prior to the removal of the existing structure, and that there is adequate land area on the subject lot to provide sufficient parking, and there are no new nonconformities being created.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is one of those, you know, I just need to say, sometimes the laws and, you know, the rules and regulations,
I know, right?
you know, sometimes they're not.
Sometimes they don't
Can I
seem
make one,
fair.
just one note? I mean, the people, if they do get stuck in this house, they would be safer in the new house than the old house.
I get it, but people tend to maybe some people don't make wise decisions and try to leave it at wrong time. It's just a bad situation, that's all. It could be a bad situation.
I guess you'd have to,
And you know, the buck stops here.
well, the town could take it and redesign it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the bottom line of the whole thing is sometimes the rules are in your favor, sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
You follow the rules.
I'll leave my phone on a ten.
I have no option.
That? Nope. I got it.
Jesus.
You already signed that one.
Be nice.
I'm a high school teacher.
Yeah, how can you be nice? Is that what you mean?
Yes. I'm a high school
I
teacher.
love it. Oh. All right, so other business. We want to take them in order. Well, why don't we get you out of here. How's that?
thank you.
Why don't we go right down to 42 Spoondrift Way?
Great, thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, again, Attorney Christopher Crane for the owner of 42 Spoondrift Way. With me tonight is Don Devaney. He's the builder, so he can certainly answer any questions related to what's being modified or proposed. I submitted a letter to this board requesting a minor modification under 174-24C9A, which is a provision of the bylaw that I've come before this board before to allow for minor modifications without having to go through the public hearing notices and publications and things of that nature. One of the items under that provision of the bylaw allows you to do this for architectural changes, which is what's happening here. The footprint, this was approved back in 2022. The footprint is not changing, so there's no changes to lot covers, no changes to setbacks. They just redesigned what's going on top of the foundation. And so it's all architectural designs. According to Don, the house is actually getting a little bit, the height is being reduced a little bit, but overall, it's just the look of the house, is what's being changed. So again, we're not changing footprint, we're not changing setbacks, it's all architectural design.
What kind of things just,
Sure.
it just concerns me, I'm not overly concerned, but the people that were at the public hearing, that may have been at the public hearing, saw a plan, right? So we want to make sure that we're including anything that people have rights to give their input.
Right.
Do we have the old and the new plans or not?
Yes, there's
Yeah, I think that would be, could you go over the changes that we could recognize? I presume which would be all of them.
Well, to open, it's been approved by, is it the Peninsula Architectural Review Committee?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they approved the new
okay.
architectural look. It's just a different look of the house. I mean, I can't describe exactly, there's no real term for the look. It's not a Queen Anne, it's not a cape, it's not a,
So if I look at the two, can you show me the differences between the two? What's changed? Whether it's this, all of it?
well, the gables are different. There's not a two-story connector anymore, there's a one-story connector. It, architecturally, to the human eye, it looks more suitable for the lot,
And we don't have anything from
I
the
think,
original,
versus the
other than that.
the previous.
Doesn't show any elevations, though.
I mean, what
Plans?
are your concerns?
Well, let's just say there were
just wanna
5
know
people
what
in
it
the
is before
audience,
we
and they
vote.
said, boy, that doesn't look very bad, I like that house next to my house, I love it, that's nice, I'm okay with it. Now, all of a sudden, the house gets built, and they say, the heck is this?
All right, so here's the old one,
Yeah,
and it looks like this is the new one.
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? You don't.
Where's the
want-
old one?
Right here. It's got a two-story there.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, let's look at the back. Now we're both looking at the back.
Yeah,
So this, look at this. This has changed.
yeah,
This has changed.
that, isn't it? The whole, I mean, every elevation's changed. It doesn't,
Right.
Completely different.
it doesn't matter to me, again, I'm just trying to make
Doesn't matter to
sure
me either.
that,
Well, again, I think important for, well,
You know, we're gonna vote on it, we should know. what
no,
we're
absolutely,
voting.
no, I agree 100%. And that's why I
is there
provided-
any way for us to know if there were letters, is there any letters in the file for this application? For the public hearing?
from the first
Yes.
time that was approved.
Yes. I just wanna,
I don't
there were
recall.
5 people in the audience that were going, I just wanna understand.
I don't
where we're
believe
at.
there were any letters in objection of the first one.
I don't recall either.
Is there anything in the folder
it's weird.
from the original filing, public hearing, from anyone? Other than, well, even in a town agency, maybe, I can't see a town giving input in reference to elevations, but,
What was the motivation for this change? Is that a personal,
It's like going from a GMC to a Ford. He just had a change of heart.
I have the decision, so I'm just looking to see if there's any notations from. the-
yeah, I'm just, can you see anything, Mary Ann? Is
Totally different.
there anything?
I wanna look
it's in the same footprint?
Right.
So there's,
I I agree.
I mean,
So I guess if there were a letter from an abutter, would it be in the folder?
It would be in that, in the minute.
It said, the only thing I can reference in the decision, it says, no comments from the audience.
No, all the comments would be, I'm just kidding.
Well, the letter would have been read in,
Yeah,
correct?
that, exactly.
Right.
And if there were a letter, Mary Ann, it would be in the folder, right?
Correct.
So there's no letters? All right, I'm okay with it. I think it's important, just to protect the interests of the
absolutely.
public, right?
Right, I agree.
I mean, I think that's important. All right, do I have a motion in reference to these changes?
Make a motion to accept the changes
Do I have a
as
second?
presented.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
No.
Well, all the projects on tonight before 7:30 isn't too bad.
Board, sign extension
I
for
told my
9.
wife 7:20.
Oh, we're not done yet, guys, come on.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of January 8th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Sign extension for 9, see to it.
Well, she's not ready.
Oh, so ready? All right, do you want to do, all right, so you just
Just,
approve the minutes? All those in favor?
aye.
There you go,
Now we'll sign the form.
there you go. Sounds good.
I found that's a tough one on the guy that buys the.
Mr. McKelvey, did you lose your way? Oh. Oh, isn't that nice? I just thought there might be some reason you'd want to say something to the board or something. Like you're maybe running for selectman or something. Well, there you go. Thank you for putting me on. That's all right. You know, I've been known to do that.
All right. We done?
We're done.
Oh, we gotta, wait a minute, we have to adjourn.
Yeah. Motion to adjourn, please?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I'll second.
All those in